everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to make this Christmas tree that I made for this Christmas tree granny square. This is a part of my Christmas granny Afghan. I'll link the pattern below. It's free on my blog, or you can purchase it to print it out if you'd like. So for this tree we're going to need worsted weight in green, yellow, and brown. Specifically, these are all Lion Brand Vanna's Choice. This is taupe, mustard, and Kelly green. You're going to need scissors and a tapestry needle, and the hook size we are using is a G hook, or a 4.0 millimeter hook. So to get started, we're going to start with our green. And we are going to start with a slip knot. And then we're going to chain up 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Once we have our 13 chains, we're going to single crochet across, starting in the second chain from the hook. And that should give us 12 across. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and one more makes 12. Okay, so this is basically like the base of the tree. And now for the second row, we're going to chain up 1, turn your work, and we are going to do what's called a loop stitch. So go ahead and insert your hook into this very first stitch. And now what we're going to do is grab this yarn that's behind your index finger, and we're also going to grab this side of the yarn. So we're going to pull both of those through the loop, and then you'll see that it creates a loop in the back. With your working yarn, you can pull it so the loop gets smaller, or you could grab the loop and pull it to make it bigger. For this tree, I'm making them about, I'd say, 1/2 inch for the loops. So I'll pull it until it's about 1/2 inch, or maybe that's like 1 inch. I think that's more like 1 inch. And then you'll yarn over and you'll pull through all 3 of the loops on your hook. And then we're going to keep doing that all the way across. So insert your hook into the next stitch, grab the yarn that's behind your index finger and in front, pull through, use the working yarn to adjust your loop. So once you have that first loop, just adjust it so it's about the same size as the second one, as the first one, I'm sorry. And then once you have it, yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, so insert your hook. Basically, your finger is creating a loop. So we're going to grab those 2, adjust, yarn over, and pull through all 3. So I'm going to show you guys a few more times. Insert your hook, grab the yarn nearest to your hook and then farthest from your hook, pull through, look on the back to adjust, and if your loops are too small, then grab the loop and pull it so it's bigger if you need to. Yarn over and pull through all 3. So insert your hook, grab this strand and that strand, pull them both through, look on the back, adjust, yarn over, pull through all 3. So when you're working the loops, you won't see them on the side you're working on, but then if you flip it over, you'll see that it's creating these loops on the back. So go ahead and keep doing that all the way across. If you need to go back and look at it again, go ahead and do that. Once you get the hang of it, you'll kind of get a feel for how big you're making the loops. So then they'll come out pretty even without you having to adjust too much. Make sure you go all the way across. Don't miss that last stitch. And that should be 12 across. Okay, so for the next row, chain up 1, turn your work. Now you'll see all of those little loops that we made in the last row. On this row, we are going to decrease in the first 2 and decrease in the last 2. So to decrease or single crochet 2 together, we're going to insert our hook in the first stitch, pull up a loop, insert our hook in the second stitch, pull up a loop. We should have 1, 2, 3, yarn over and pull through all 3, and that is a decrease. And then we're going to single crochet 8 times until we get to that last 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That will leave us with 2 stitches, and we're going to decrease again. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, insert your hook in the second stitch, pull up a loop. We should have 1, 2, 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, and that completes that row. For the next row, we're going to chain 1, turn your work, and we are going to make loops on this row. So we're not going to increase, decrease, we're just going to make 1 loop stitch in each stitch across. So for the first one, I usually have to adjust, and then usually I'll get the feel for how big I'm making the loops. So go ahead and do your loop stitches all the way across. So basically what we're going to be doing here is every other row we're going to do the loop stitches, and in the every other rows we will be decreasing. Okay, you should have 10 loop stitches across. Chain 1, turn your work. In this row we're going to be decreasing in the first and the last 2. So insert your hook in the first, pull up a loop, insert your hook in the second, pull up a loop, pull through all 3. So there is a decrease, and now we're going to single crochet 6 times until we get to the last 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's the last 2, decrease, chain 1, turn your work. And now we're going to loop stitch across, and there should be 6 loop stitches across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there's 8 across. I'm sorry, there's 8 loop stitches across. 7, 8. Chain 1, turn your work. If you are following the pattern, this is row 8. So we're going to decrease in the first 2 and the last 2. So decrease, and then single crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There will be 2 left. Decrease, chain 1, turn your work. In this row we're doing loop stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 loop stitches across. Chain 1, turn your work. This is row 10 if you're following the pattern. Decrease in the first 2, single crochet in the next 2, 1, 2, and then decrease in the last 2. Chain 1, turn your work. Loop stitches. There should be 4 in this row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1, turn your work. We are going to decrease 2 times. So 1 decrease and another decrease. Chain 1, turn your work. We're going to loop stitch 2 times. We have 2 stitches to work with in this row. 1, 2. Chain 1, turn your work. We should have 2 stitches left, so we are going to decrease. Chain 1, turn your work, and we have 1 stitch left to do 1 more loop. So once you got that, go ahead, fasten off, leave a long tail if you're sewing this onto a granny square. So this is the back and this is the front. So you will have all these little loops in the front that look like a little tree. So it does take a little work to get all the loop stitches even. I've been doing this stitch for a while, so it comes a bit easier for me, but if this is your first time, just make sure when you are doing the loops, just adjust that working yarn so the loops are pretty consistent and even. So to do the trunk, we are going to use this brown taupe color. So for the trunk, we're going to work on the bottom here. So turn it upside down, pull these loops up so you can see the stitches. We're going to count 6 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to attach the brown chain up 1, single crochet into that same space where you attached it, and then single crochet into the next space as well. Then we're going to chain 1, turn your work, single crochet across, which is only 2 times, chain 1, turn your work, and single crochet across again, 1, 2, fasten off, and that makes the trunk of the tree. Leave a bit of a tail so you can sew it onto the square as well. Okay, so the last part of this tree is the star. Oops. So we're going to be using this mustard color or yellow. And we're just going to need a little bit of this yarn. So we're going to start by doing a magic ring. Okay. We're going to chain up 2, double crochet, slip stitch, and this will make 1 point of the star. So we're going to do that 4 more times. Double crochet, slip stitch, just 1 more time, double crochet, slip stitch, 2 more times, and this is all in the magic ring. Double crochet, slip stitch, 3 more times, and then double crochet and slip stitch, and that is the 4th time. And then with your tail end, pull it tight, and then you're just going to fasten off. So we're not going to join anywhere. You can if you want to. It's not necessary. And then just cut off a tail for sewing onto the tree. So you might have to shape it a little bit, but this is your little star for the top of the tree. You can sew this on to the tree before you sew it onto the granny square, but I sewed the tree on the square first, and then I just sewed this onto the tree and onto the square at the same time. I found it a little easier to do that because then I have more of a surface to sew the star on rather than sewing it onto this little point, if that makes sense. So there is your tree. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you'd like to see more crochet tutorials, you could subscribe below, and thank you for watching.